let me introduce to you my first speaker of the day, which is Sébastien Privel from Coca-Cola Company, and he will take us through how the pandemic was a catalyst of the transformation and give us the process perspective.
So hello everybody. So when you look back at the pandemic, I mean, it really accelerated some existing trends that we are seeing in our industry. And what was very obvious from the start is that we needed to accelerate decision making, that dynamic resource allocation was key, and we need to ensure that there's more and better accountability of the different stakeholders in the company. So to do so, we did some streamlining of our operations. We also work at developing more integrated and flexible tools in order to speed up our decision process and ensure that we've got one standard of metrics across. And doing that, what is really important was also to invest in people and in tools that we ensure that we've got the right capabilities for the future. And when we're thinking about capabilities for the future, if you can move to the next slide, please. What was created within the Coca-Cola Company is one new organization which services our center and organization unit, which is called Platform Services. So the objective of this platform service, which is not only in finance, I mean, you can find this in data analytics, public affairs, marketing, HR, but in the case of finance, it's really about standardizing our ways of working, scaling what can be scaled, digitize, and allow in the end accelerated data to insight so that the business can take faster and better decision. If you move to the next slide. So what does it mean for finance? So basically, before the pandemic, we used to have a traditional financial service center where you would find AP, AR, accounting, treasury type of activities. And then we moved to a financial hub. And in this financial hub, we move a lot of new activities linked to FP&A, marketing, commercial finance, supply chain finance, and so on. So when you think about FP&A, so what happened is that the FP&A teams that were part of the different organization units across the globe, so we're transitioned to these platform services. We have also integrated a new MSP, and this helps us to really upgrade our capabilities and have a team which is no longer local, but it's got a full global scale. And I would say that the challenge that when we did that at the beginning of 2021 is that we also upgraded our ERP in the meantime. And all this transition and changes happened during the first 90 days of 2021, so in a very short period of time. But what it helped us to do is that when you think about FP&A, so I mean, Coca-Cola is present in more than 180 countries. So we used to have a lot of independent local finance team. So we were having one integrated planning tool, but people were using it in a very different ways, sometimes looking at different KPIs, and there was a lot of inconsistency across. Moving all those teams to one central platform, I mean, it really helps to have one team, and we can start standardizing the process and to provide the same level of service across all our organization units. So as such, COVID did not drive this transformation, but was really a catalyst of plans that were already, I would say, in the pipeline. And maybe if it was not for the COVID, maybe we would have waited a bit more because it was quite a big step that we took back in 2021. So now that we have set up this organization, you can move to the next slide. So we are moving to what we call the next generation of FP&A. So the objective is really to focus more on the future. So before FP&A, we used to spend a lot of time trying to understand what happened and look at how we responded and try to predict a bit the future about this. Now it's about developing models that provide us more whys and help us to predict what we think can happen doing more scenario modeling. And also doing so, we are moving from a very labor-intensive process to a process which is simpler and effortless. So really leveraging some integrated planning platform, machine learning, predictive tools, so that it makes the process much more easier for all the parties involved. And if you move to the next slide. So when we think about this next generation FP&A rollout, I mean, in the end, it's about what we did through 2021. It's to build standard processes and deliverables. When you've got those standards, you can move to one integrated global planning platform. And this is integrated not only because, I mean, it integrates all our businesses and geography, but it's also about integrating our long range planning to our business plan process, to our rolling estimate process, and our actual reviews. It's also leveraging our driver-based predictive models that help us to do real-time scenario management on a more frequent basis. So our objective is to be able to run scenario on a weekly basis if needed. And that's something that in case of crisis like the pandemic, and pandemic is hopefully will not come back, but I mean, we can experience crisis quite often. I mean, right now we can think about the Ukraine crisis. So I'm sure that my colleagues in Russia and Ukraine must be running quite a few scenarios right now. And it's also having this integrated platform. So it's about having more self-service with real-time analytics available for our stakeholders. So meaning that you can self-service yourself and you don't need to wait for finance to send out the information. So it's there at the tip of your finger and it's all real time. And all of this allow us and allow our operations to do resource allocation in a much more efficient way across the business. So if we move to the next slide, and what are the lessons about the pandemic, it's like, first you need to standardize process and deliverables if you want to move to one integrated planning platform. And if you want also to start building some predictive model with the right scenario management capabilities, because I mean, if you don't have one platform and one way of looking at things and working at things, you can not move to this next stage.